from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoyed that last night in Milwaukee. Grizzlies win. Big night for Jaren Jackson Jr. He got 37. Nice fourth quarter. Allowed the Grizz to overcome what was at one point a double-digit deficit and climb to alone in second place in the Western Conference standings. Bennett, I told you we's going to get there eventually. It took a little longer than I thought, but we're here now. And oh, by the way, the Mavericks did the dumbest thing you could ever do as a professional sports franchise. We'll talk about it all momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Michael Eaves, host Sports Center for ESPN. He's going to join me in about 20 minutes. I'll talk about, yes, the biggest sports story of the weekend. He'll join me in the next segment. Michael Eaves going to be here around 10:20. Finish talking to Mike, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Penny Hardaway Tigers played at Rice this weekend. Final score, 86-83. P.J. Haggerty had another nice performance. We'll talk Tigers in about 40 minutes. Former Memphis coach John Calipari made his first trip back to Lexington this weekend since leaving Kentucky for Arkansas last April. He was a big underdog, shorthanded, but he won. Sports is funny like that sometimes. We'll talk about Coach Cal back at Rupp. We'll do it in just a bit. Royal Rumble went down Saturday night in Indianapolis. Fun event. Jey Uso was the star of the night. Main event, Jey Uso going to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Get Bennett's thoughts on that a little later on in the show. Beyonce won Album of the Year at the Grammys last night. Kendrick Lamar added 5 trophies for Not Like Us. That was a fun night of television. Taylor Swift and Beyonce dancing to Not Like Us. It must have been a rough thing for Drake to experience from a distance. We'll get into that in the third segment. And Todd Mastery, who used to run the Lander Center down in South Haven, has filed a lawsuit laced with some ugly allegations. I'll tell you what he said he was told to do with the building. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because, oh, buddy, is flying by. Game 50 of a scheduled 82. It's going to be played tonight in downtown Memphis. Grizz Spurs inside FedEx Forum, 7 o'clock tip. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. And the game will tip roughly 22 hours or so after the Grizz beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. Final score last night, 132-119, 13-point victory for your Grizzlies. After trailing by double digits at one point, the Grizzlies outscored the Bucks 39-20 in the fourth quarter, won the game by 13, despite the absence of Ja Morant, who continues to be sidelined with a shoulder injury. Status report for tonight's game going to come out later today. When it does, we'll share it with you. Hopefully it's encouraging, but, I'm not necessarily expecting it. Either way, here are the 3 things you really need to know about the Grizzlies right now, all right? 1, they beat the Bucks last night with Jaren Jackson Jr. getting 37 points with 7 made threes, and Gigi Jackson blocked Giannis at the rim. That created a nice highlight. 2, the Grizz are playing the Spurs tonight and are listed as 4.5-point favorites. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. And 3, Big Bet Bennett, I told you it was just a matter of time before the Grizzlies would pass the Rockets and sit alone second place in the Western Conference standings. Now we're here. Did you realize we're here? We didn't get here as quickly as I'd hoped or promised, but we're here now. Don't doubt me again.
I'm feeling great about it. It was good stuff this weekend, especially last night. Man, the cool thing about last night's game and the past 2 games, frankly, for them is, the knock lately has been, okay, well, Yeah, they've got, one of the best offenses in the league and whatnot, but when they play against these physical teams, they sometimes get, pushed around a little bit. That was not the case these past two games, man. They took it to Milwaukee and Houston, and I think it's a really positive sign about things going forward, just because Jaren even said it when George Sedano interviewed him in the post game, that these games this time of year, they tend to get, bogged down a little bit more, in the mud a little bit more, like we like to say, and they've at least proved it in these past two that they can play that way as well.
Nice win last night. So the Grizz are now 33-16 on the season, 6 games back of first place Oklahoma City, but a half game ahead of Houston, alone in second Western Conference standings. 33-16, second best record in the West, 4th best record in the entire NBA, even though Ja Morant has missed now 21 of the Grizzlies' 49 games this season. Marcus Smart has missed 31. Vince Williams has missed 46. And the Grizzlies still have the 4th best record in the NBA with Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs in town tonight. Again, tickets available, Grizzlies.com. We're going to get back to our NBA franchise in just a bit, but can we please just talk about the biggest story of the weekend?
I think we have to, yeah.
Michael Eaves joins us. Holy God, the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic. Late Saturday, early Sunday, the dumbest trade in NBA history was executed. Luka Doncic is now a Laker. Big Bet Bennett, where were you when you realized the Dallas Mavericks really did just trade a 25-year-old, 5-time first-team All-NBA player for a older, injury-riddled player? I mean, it was so ridiculous people didn't even believe it. At what point did you go, oh, I guess this is true? I guess this really happened?
Yeah, so when the initial, I think maybe the first thing I saw was ESPN posted it, and I looked at that tweet 5-6 times because I was like, they got hacked or something. This is a fake account that just looks super real. It was insane, dude. It was actually pretty funny waking up the next morning because I stay up late, so I saw it. When it dropped, 11:30, something like that. It was around then.
I think it was after midnight for us. I was in studio here in New York, and the way, we were getting ready to go, live on television, and just like this, I've got an IFBN, and my producer Seth gets in my ear. We're a minute out. And he's like, GP, you see this trade? And I'm like, what? He's like, and before he can even tell me, and I think this was how everybody experienced this, before he could even tell me what he was going to tell me, he stopped himself and said, oh, no, it must be fake. And I said, well, what is it? He's like, well, it's from Shams. I said, well, what is it? He's like, but he must have got hacked or something.
Yeah. I think a lot of people thought that. I mean, he even had to go back and clarify, no, this is real. This is.
So Seth, okay. So Seth tells me in my ear, he goes, I said, well, just what is it? He said, the Mavericks had traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony. And I said, no, that's fake. That's not real. I dismissed it out of hand because it sounded so absurd. This is how you know, and this is the simplest and best way to explain how absurd this is from a Dallas Mavericks perspective. They made a trade that when the most reputable working NBA insider today tweeted it, they made a trade that is so absurd, people didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It took 20 minutes for the world to come to grips with the idea, the reality that the Mavericks really did trade Luka Doncic. It's so absurd that even when Shams said, I'm telling you this is real, people are like, well, it can't be. It was more believable that Shams got hacked than it was that the Mavericks actually did what they did. Devin Booker was in the middle of a game with the Suns. Did you see his post-game interview Saturday night?
Yeah, I did.
He said, we were on the bench and somebody told us Luka got traded. And I said, Luka Garza? Think about that for a second. There's no other set of circumstances in the world where you would hear in basketball terms the name Luka and assume we're talking about Luka Garza, not Luka Doncic. If I said to you, Luka got anything, you would be like, your head goes to Luka Doncic, not Luka Garza. But when it's like traded, it's like, well, it's got to be Luka Garza, I guess, because it can't be Luka Doncic. Nobody would trade Luka Doncic. The entire NBA was shocked by this.
Mm-hmm.
Every player, every GM, and then you start hearing the explanations for it, and it's even worse. I mean, what?
Yeah, GP, I think honestly anything outside of Dallas like winning the championship this season, like it's a complete disaster for that. I just don't understand how you can justify doing it if you're their GM just because. Yeah, go ahead.
First off, you can't justify doing it.
You can't.
All right, just period. You cannot justify doing that. This is nonsensical. This is front office malpractice.
Yeah. You know how I feel about the guy. I think when he's healthy, he's the best player in the league. So
yeah,
that's where I stand. Yeah.
He is 25 years old, and he's been first-team All-NBA 5 times. Like, I'm not 25 years old, 5-time All-Star. That would be amazing. First-team All-NBA 5 times. It doesn't matter what your justification is. You cannot justify it. It doesn't matter what your rationalization is. You cannot rationalize it. The only way this will ever look good from Dallas's perspective will be if Luka Doncic is chronically injured and somebody else is paying him $300 million to sit on their bench. But even if it comes to that, you just got lucky. It doesn't mean you were right. It doesn't mean that you had anything concrete to base that bet on. You're just betting. They just wanted to get rid of Luka Doncic. That's period. That's it. They had just so fed up with him. I think the quote Brian Windhorst said an NBA All-Star gave him is the best explanation for why they did this. Brian Windhorst was on TV late Saturday, early Sunday, and he said, I got a text from an NBA All-Star, and that NBA All-Star said, do you know how much they must hate Luka in Dallas? They have to hate him. They have to hate him.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, too, though, like, I think behind closed doors, he would say, we know things are going to get bad with Luka this offseason. Like, we're trying to get out in front of that because it's probably going to get ugly. We don't want to give him the whatever. That's fine. Then I think it's your job to, like, get out in front of that with the rest of the league. Like, the fact that this just happened kind of like, without any other teams knowing about it or anything is crazy to me because obviously you would have gotten so much more of a significant haul for Luka than what you got. I mean,
Here's
we're talking.
Yeah. Well, here's how you know it's front office malpractice. Even if you have sensible reasons in your own head for doing this, you didn't do it properly. Even if you, let's say you can actually get to a point where you could sit down and privately convince me, GP, we got to get off Luka Doncic. All right. He's got a supermax extension coming up. We don't want to be the franchise paying him $300+ million because this guy can't stay in shape at 25. What do you think he's going to be at 30? All right. And secondly, he named the 3 worst things you could say about Luka Doncic's lifestyle that would give you concerns going forward long term about investing $300 million. You could tell me all of that stuff. And even if you convinced me, okay, I hear you. We don't want to be in the Luka Doncic business going forward. All right, you convinced me. You don't just call the Lakers and do a deal like this. You call everybody. And you don't care if it's going to get out because eventually you're going to have this conversation anyway.
That's right.
You call everybody and you say, does anybody want Luka Doncic? And you let the deals come in and you let somebody offer A, B, and C and 3 first-round picks, and then you let somebody else think that they got to do A, B, and C and 4 first-round picks, and then you let somebody else think. You do not just do a deal. This is the problem. Even if you convince yourself this is smart for your franchise long-term, you didn't go about it the right way, which means I just think you don't know what you're doing. And that's what everybody else in the NBA seems to think as well. They just don't know what they're doing. They got too close to it. They got so fed up with their 25-year-old superstar, so frustrated with a lack of conditioning, a lack of whatever, that they decided we got to get rid of this guy without understanding what it is they actually had. Well, we were worried about, this is the report, they were worried about giving him a supermax deal. Do you realize 29 other franchises would do it like that?
I know.
If the Grizzlies had cap space and the opportunity to give Luka Doncic a supermax, they would do it right now. So would every other franchise except for Dallas. Every one. Well, we were worried about his conditioning. Okay. Well, even at poorly conditioned, he's first-team All-NBA.
Yeah.
Even poorly conditioned, he's one of the best players in the world. And if we've reached a point where we don't think he takes conditioning seriously, we fire everybody who's in charge of his conditioning. And we hire new people who can maybe try to reach him. And if they can't reach him, we'll hire somebody else. But you don't give up on the 25-year-old generational talent. Nico Harrison holding that press conference yesterday. You're supposed to talk and make things better, not talk and make things worse. He made things worse. He didn't even have a compelling case. So were you concerned Luka wouldn't sign a supermax? No. Were you concerned Luka was going to ask for a trade? No. Did he ask for a trade? No. Did you talk to anybody besides the Lakers? No. What are you like? I'm not exaggerating. If I were an owner of an NBA franchise and my general manager came to me and even had an idea about this, I would fire them. I would say, you clearly don't know what you're doing if you brought this to me. If you think this is a good idea, I don't want you running my franchise anymore. You have to go. It is insane what they did, and they will, unless Luka Doncic is chronically injured the rest of his career, they will regret this forever, and it will go down in history exactly the way people are already framing it, as the dumbest, most nonsensical, I think you could argue, professional sports trade that's ever happened in this country.
Yeah, because the thing is, too, is not like you just gave a Western, like the Lakers did not have a plan post LeBron, or they at least didn't have anything set up post LeBron. You just gave it to them. That's your Western Conference rival.
And they got very few. They don't have much long-term money on the books. Like, they're going to have Luka Doncic and tons of cap space very, very soon. You just set them up. You gifted them. I mean, it's outrageous. And I know some people have said the NBA should void this. You can't. This isn't like the deal that got voided once upon a time. It's just you got to live with it. But it's if I were every other franchise in the NBA is like looking at this. The only person in the NBA running an NBA franchise who thought this made sense is Nico Harrison. And that's a good indication that he's almost certainly going to be proven wrong. Michael Eaves up next.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati, look for their secrets, run back, tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
A night of comedy with Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? You don't know where your mom is. The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
I went ziplining for the last time. What is wrong with us? Would you pay $200 to feel like you're about to die 6 times?
Live in Memphis, FedEx Forum, Friday, February 21st. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history, and meanwhile they boo him out of the building?
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you!
That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
So these are a pair of Kobe 11 Elite Low. These were part of a collaboration with FC Barcelona.
I've never seen these in person. The detail on these are amazing.
It's Flyknit, like, you know, the front of the shoe's Flyknit. It's got the lunar line, I remember, and the
insole is removable.
Yeah. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back in the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. And on Mondays in the second segment, I'm joined by ESPN's Michael Eaves. You see him on SportsCenter. He's here right now. Michael Eaves is GP. How you doing on this Monday?
I'm good, man. Did you get some snow in New York?
We did a little bit last night. It's all cleaned up now, but it was I had nice flurries. I took a walk in the snow flurries last night. It was a good walk.
Good for you. Winter in New York.
Yes, it's beautiful outside. That's the thing about up here. I said living up here like I live here, but it does feel like I do.
Yeah.
In Memphis, if it snows, it stays there for a minute. Here, they got it all cleaned up pretty quickly.
No. It's all about being prepared and having the right stuff. Like here in Connecticut, we probably got more snow than you did, but it's like it never happened. Like people their business is going on as normal, man.
That's right. That's the way it is here right now as well. So this weekend we had a big NBA trade, and one that I don't think we've ever seen anything like, in the sense that one of your colleagues, who is the most reputable NBA insider working today, like when he tweets something, we don't really doubt it. And yet he tweeted it, and for 20 minutes, the world didn't even really believe that it was true, that the Dallas Mavericks actually traded Luka Doncic. He had to retweet himself and say, no, guys, I'm not hacked. Just a weird night and a huge story. What did you make of it when you heard it?
Yeah, it was kind of unprecedented, because we've never had future Hall of Famers in the prime of their career traded from one another, and no one knew it was coming. No one knew it was coming. Luka and Anthony Davis didn't know it was coming, right? That's the real shock, and especially in this day and age, you know, that Shams didn't know. No one knew until it actually happened how the Mavericks and the Lakers could keep that under wraps in this day and age, to me, is phenomenal. But also, just as it relates to those particular players, like for the Lakers to move Anthony Davis, okay, sure. I could tell you several reasons why that made sense. But Luka leaving Dallas, it didn't make sense, other than the fact that Mark Cuban is no longer the principal owner of the Dallas Mavericks. That, to me, is the only reason that trade could go down, because, you know, even Luka thought he would spend his entire career in Dallas. And for everything that, you know, if you look at the way Dirk Nowitzki ended there, and again, that was under the ownership of Mark Cuban, you would see Luka being that same guy. You would move other people, but you wouldn't move Luka. But Mark Cuban's not calling the shots anymore. His relationship with Luka doesn't have the same force it would have with the front office now who's calling the shots, and Nico Harrison, the GM there. And clearly from his vantage point, the long-term future or maybe even the short-term goals of the Mavericks were better off without Luka Doncic in Dallas.
It seems like they just got fed up with him in a variety of ways. And I bet you if you could, have private conversations with members of that front office, they would have multiple stories that made you go, okay, I understand. But I think most people's opinion on this is even if you had Luka Doncic issues or Luka Doncic conditioning issues, you got to try to fix that before you give up on a 25-year-old generational talent. Where do you land on that part of this discussion?
Well, I think the way you preface your statement makes a lot of sense. There clearly has to be more involved that we're not aware of. Now,
right.
The speculation and some of the rumors coming out is that it is about his conditioning, his commitment to his rehab coming back from this calf strain. I mean, he hadn't played since Christmas Day, right? I mean, he's missed 20 games with a calf strain, which seems, a little fishy to say the least. And then his commitment to defense and being that great two-way player. And it's usually a two-way player that leads teams to championships. And they don't see that from Luka. So if you're just talking about certain reasons why to move on, I mean, those are valid when you're talking about, building a championship team. And granted, they were in the NBA Finals last year, but they want to win another championship there in Dallas. And there's also one other thing that I think people need to pay attention to, and that is the money. Sometimes you always have to follow the money, Gary. And Luka was going to be due a supermax contract that evidently he was going to sign that would have paid him like $345 million, right? Now, because he goes to Dallas, the Lakers cannot offer him a supermax. So it can only be like $230 something million, right? So in essence, the Mavericks saved more than $100 million supermax deal for Luka that then they could use for other things, right? So I'm not saying that's the sole reason, but money always matters when it comes to professional sports, and that would be another reason I could see Nico Harrison making that deal.
Well, this is another interesting aspect of it because the reason this Supermax was put into the CBA, or at least among the reasons, was to give franchises the ability to hold on to players that they drafted and developed. And
exactly.
And yet I wonder now if it's working the opposite way. On one hand, it's designed to allow the Mavericks to give their homegrown player $350 million. But are we going to get to the point where franchisers are like, I don't know if I want to pay somebody $350 million? Is that where we're at right now?
I think it depends on the player, right? I mean, you would give Steph Curry every single cent that he could get under that new deal in the CBA and the Supermax contract. And other players, you could probably make that argument. But not everybody qualifies, even if they are first team All-NBA, right? Because there's other things involved. And clearly that was the case for Dallas. There were other things involved with Luka being on that squad that gave them reason to move on from him. It's as simple as that. But I think anything, Gary, your worth is what someone's willing to pay, right? Whether that's your team or a different team. Now they give the home teams, we'll say the home teams, people who drafted players, they give them advantage, but that doesn't mean that team has to use that advantage. Right? They don't have to offer the Supermax contract. They have that ability to, but they don't have to do it. And in this situation, the Mavericks are like, let's trade them, get something in value, and not even have to worry about that offer this summer.
I don't agree with moving off of a 25-year-old, five-time first-team All-NBA guy, regardless of the reasons. I would just try to figure it out. Even if I had genuine concerns, I'd try to figure it out before I moved him. But whatever. They decided they think they're going to be better off long-term and perhaps short-term without Luka Doncic. Let's, for the sake of the conversation, acknowledge that that's a reasonable opinion to have. Are you surprised they didn't shop him more than they did? It sounds like they just picked up the phone, called the Lakers, and was like, if y'all want to do this, let's do it. And if you would have leaked this to Brian Windhorst or Shams or anybody else, it just feels like you would have got superior offers to what they actually settled for. Were you surprised that this wasn't more of a, we're taking bids for Luka Doncic, let's see how this plays out?
No, because they would get killed publicly and in the media. And so, you're really trying to shop Luka Doncic? What are you doing? You got to But if you just do it and no one knows it's happening, now the backlash is only backlash. They were going to get pre-lashed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now that the deal is done, now everyone's kind of moving on to say, oh, what's it going to be like with Luka and LeBron in LA? Does AD actually give the Mavs a better chance to get back to the NBA Finals this year than if Luka was still there? So the conversation is different once the deal is done and no one knew it, as opposed to if you leaked it out there and let it sort of, grow in its own mass, and it becomes something that just becomes fodder. And then here's the thing about it. You put it out there, you shop them, you don't get a deal. Now how do you look?
Yeah. Luka and LeBron will play together this season eventually, assuming Luka is healthy. But the Lakers are looking at this more. I don't know that this is designed for Luka and LeBron to win a championship as much as it's designed for Luka to be the face of your franchise for the next decade. But Luka, LeBron on an NBA team together in this season, if healthy, does that move the needle at all for the Los Angeles Lakers?
I don't think any more than where it was setting previously.
Right.
I really don't. And it's going to be interesting to see how those two coexist within an offense. Look, I've always been the belief great basketball players can play with anybody, right? But it's going to be an adjustment for both LeBron and Luka because of how they play and how they kind of dominate the ball when it comes to the offensive side. Now, I think for Luka, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him as he looks at the rest of his career, quite honestly. And maybe he needed some type of reality check or punch in the gut to really remind him of why he became great and what it takes to be greater. And being with LeBron and seeing how LeBron goes about his business, especially taking care of his body at this age, at this stage of his career, I think if Luka doesn't take something positive from that and apply it to his own lifestyle, I think that's a huge mistake. And as you mentioned, for the Lakers, yes, they know LeBron's not going to be there more than another year plus, probably, right? But you got to look to the future. And the LA has always had marquee players. And you look at the landscape right now, like who can they get to put Luka in purple and gold for the next 10 years in that city? That gives them an opportunity to go and get other players to help them win a championship. And that's what they're about with the Lakers and the Bucks family. They're about marquee stars and the pursuit of championships. And Luka gives them that.
Another big deal this weekend. The Spurs are in Memphis tonight, and I'm got balloons popping up for some reason.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
The
That
Spurs
happened to Monica McNutt on Get Up or First Take or something a couple months ago.
I saw her. I saw that happen to her. So here we are. I can do a thumbs up every once in a while too. So the Spurs are in town. They'd make a deal for De'Aaron Fox. How excited should San Antonio fans be for a future with Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox?
Yes. They should probably be more excited than Laker fans, quite honestly.
Yes.
And Shanae Ogumike joined us on SportsCenter last night, and she dropped a nugget on me that I wasn't aware of. In terms of pick and roll players, right? And that's basically what the league is now offensively. You get in a pick and roll, and can you exploit matchups? With De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, they have two of the top 6 players in pick and roll efficiency. And the number 1 player in the league is Chris Paul. So now you got 3 of the top 6 in just that one aspect of efficiency as it relates to offensive basketball in the NBA. And you got them on the same team. So having Chris Paul alongside De'Aaron Fox will actually help De'Aaron Fox for the rest of his career. And then now in San Antonio, you got De'Aaron Fox. He wanted to come there, so you know he's going to sign the extension to stay there. And you put him and Victor Wembanyama together for the next 10 years. What do you have, right? Now San Antonio is a destination in the NBA, and it hasn't been in a while. So what they did was phenomenal. And, I mean, it helped a lot that De'Aaron Fox wanted to go there, so it made it much easier for San Antonio to make that deal. But you put those two guys together for the next 10 years, I mean, they're going to be in the conversation for going to the NBA Finals for the next decade.
A couple things outside of the NBA this morning. Breaking news, Myles Garrett, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL, has requested a trade from Cleveland. How big of a headline is that?
Significant because of the quality player he is. And if he can go to a team that, contends, then, he can lead you to a Super Bowl. I mean, he can be the Aaron Donald mix that they had for the Rams. And if I'm him, yeah, no surprise you want out of Cleveland. Just the dysfunction they continue to show, or that goes back to, having Deshaun Watson as your franchise quarterback for some reason. And then everything that's happened since then, they can't get a quality quarterback. Why would Myles Garrett waste the rest of his career there? He doesn't want to be Joe Thomas. He doesn't want to be a Hall of Famer and could barely get to the playoffs because he played for the Browns.
Last thing before I let you go, Roy McIlroy wins at Pebble Beach yesterday. It's obviously always beautiful playing on the coast. He adds another big victory to his resume. golf is in such a weird place right now because we don't have everybody on the same tour. But still, Rory winning at Pebble Beach, I mean, that's a big name, obviously historically relevant course. How much, if you're hosting SportsCenter last night, is that a B block story, a C block story? How much does Rory McIlroy winning at Pebble Beach matter these days?
Oh, it mattered. I mean, we had it in I think it was our C block, and we gave it a minute highlight, and it was all him. Yeah, it's significant because of who he is and the venue. You said he never won there before. But also, Gary, he played so well, man. He dominated that golf course. And to win going away the way he did, it just gives you a little more anticipation of what he's going to do in April as he tries to complete the career Grand Slam for the 11th time. I think this would be his attempt at just trying to win the Masters to have all 4 Grand Slams. And golf is better when guys like Rory are contending weekly, not just at the majors, but weekly. And yes, it's a big deal. He played great. Scottie Scheffler came back for the first time since his injury, but he still finished in the top 10. Yes, they're much better off when those guys are playing well. And Rory, again, his best, he's playing his best. I'm not sure anybody can beat him, and that includes Scottie Scheffler.
It is Michael Eaves from ESPN. Make sure you're watching him on SportsCenter and following him on X. That's at Michael Eaves, at Michael Eaves. You're the best, brother. I appreciate you being here. Talk to you next week.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, bye-bye. That's Michael Eaves from ESPN on X, at Michael Eaves. When we come back, turn our attention to college basketball. P.J. Haggerty, another nice game for the Tigers yesterday. Memphis wins a close one down at Rice. I've got them 13th in the top 25 and 1. We'll talk Tiger basketball next. It's Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
How about them Tigers? Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sitting right next to me, am I right? The one and only Jay Huff. Were you comfortable there in your seat?
I'm great. I've been adjusting it, playing around with the height settings.
What are you exactly? 7'1" or 7 even? Or
I say 7'2" because I wear shoes.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
They
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I did a video and I thought it was pretty funny, and I said, well, I'm gonna post it on TikTok and see what it does. You know, we watched Alabama beat Miami. We had no idea that the video was blowing up the whole time we were beating Miami, or we would have kept doing it. Yeah. So I told Tide roll. The Tide, tell them, Willie. Tide roll, baby. That's what they do.
We always gonna get beat because you cannot mess with the Tide.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Final score, Memphis 86, Rice 83. I know we've had problems with the Owls in the past, Bennett, but not this weekend. The Owls go down. Tigers over Owls. That's the way it's supposed to be.
It was a little scary there for a second.
Did you get scared? I never got worried.
Well, I mean, there at the end when they just like couldn't put them away, but I mean, that was just one of those situations, dude. It's funny, like when I flipped on the TV and flipped on the game and saw the Rice gym, I was just my immediate thought was, please just get out of here with a win. I was like, I mean, no offense, but like, I can totally understand walking into that environment, whatever that was yesterday, as a Tigers player and being like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, there's like 200 people there in a high school gym, dude.
Might as well be playing at White Station.
Yeah, man. I was just like, come on, like, get me out of this league, please. No offense.
This is life in the AAC.
Yeah.
We can talk about it every week.
I know.
But it ain't going to change.
Just that one yesterday.
Until it changes.
Wow. I was like, I can't believe this is where we are.
It ain't going to change until something changes. This is the neighborhood you live in, Bennett. You can drive down the street every day talking about you can't believe your neighbor's yard looks like that. You can't believe your neighbor's door looks like that, and you can't believe your neighbor's flower bed looks like that. But this is the neighborhood you live in, Bennett.
Yeah.
This is the neighborhood you live in. PJ Haggerty, big again, 26 points. He's now averaging 21.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists per game while shooting above 50% from the field and above 41% from three-point range. He's got a chance, we've talked about it a bunch, to be a first-team All-American, and if he does that, he would become just the 4th Memphis basketball player ever to be a first-team All-American, joining a list that includes Keith Lee, Penny Hardaway, and Chris Douglas Roberts. The Tigers yesterday shot 55% from the field, 52.4% from three-point range, and they improved to 18-4 overall, 8-1 in the league. I've got them up to 13th in the top 25-1. Did you see what Penny said after the game?
He said he thought they were the best team in the country.
Woo! I mean, they're not, but like
I do like the confidence. No, it's
I like the confidence.
His reasoning, like, again, I disagree, but like his reasoning, I actually do agree with like what he's saying about them being able to go and win these games on the road. And I know they're in a bad league, but like they're winning a lot of road games, and that's not extremely typical in college basketball with great teams, right?
I'm not going to get mad at a man who's coaching a team that's 5-1 in quadrant 1 and 5-2 in quadrant 2, so 10-3 in the first 2 quadrants. I'm not going to get mad at a man who is about to win his league and about to win AAC Coach of the Year honors if the voting is done properly, and who has one of the best teams in the country. I'm not going to get mad about with that man believing in his team. I mean, I could sit here and spend 10 minutes explaining to you how Memphis is not actually the best team in the country, despite what Memphis's coach says. But what is the point in that? It just seems like, what? Okay, fine. They're not the best team in the country, but they are one of the best teams in the country. The best team in the country, that's probably Auburn or Duke. And really, we're not even having a conversation about anybody else. Auburn and Duke have separated from the sport. In the betting markets right now, Auburn's like plus 380 to win the national title. Duke's like plus 390. Nobody else is better than plus 1,000. So in college basketball, you have this situation where Auburn and Duke are number 1 and number 2 in the betting markets by far. Number 1 and number 2 in the net, number 1 and number 2 at KenPom, and they are being led by the two players who are the clear favorites to win National Player of the Year at Auburn, Janai Broome, at Duke, Cooper Flagg. So Memphis is good, but not a part of that conversation. PJ Haggerty is great, but not a part of that conversation. But Memphis is a part of any conversation that happens below that. Any conversation that happens outside of Auburn, Duke, Broome, Flagg is a conversation you can reasonably put Memphis and PJ Haggerty in. And that's a great place to be. We didn't. Yeah. Weeks before the season started, we were like, they brought back one player and just fired the whole staff. What is going on? And now we're sitting here on February 3rd, and this is a team that's going to once again be in the AP poll when it updates later today, and a team that can dream as big as you want to dream. Do I think I'm going to get a bracket on Selection Sunday and pencil Memphis all the way to the Final Four? Probably not, but somebody else will, and it won't be stupid. It won't be nonsensical. This is a very good, experienced basketball team that has been either reaching expectations or exceeding them much of the year. We can get mad about that Arkansas State loss at home or the loss at Temple, but teams, even nationally ranked ones, very good ones, are losing to bad teams, mediocre teams every week. And Memphis has largely been able to avoid that. It's been an excellent season so far. And so even though yesterday did get a little closer than you would like, you'd like to go to Rice and, be up by 17 at the half and win it by 27. Not every game's going to be like that. It is human nature to play down the competition. Yeah. In almost any sport. If you ever are a fan of a team that doesn't do that, they've tapped into something special. It's hard to avoid letdowns. It's hard to stay focused all the time. It's hard to get up for one AAC game after another. And you ready? Iowa State just probably went through this. Midweek, they were at Arizona. Incredible atmosphere, overtime game. They lose it after Caleb Love hits that heave from beyond half court to get it to the extra period. And tonight, Iowa State, they got to go to Kansas. Allen Fieldhouse, big Monday. Well, you know what Iowa State had in between there? A home game against a Kansas State team that's 2 games below 500. How do you get up for every one of these? Yeah. No. And so you know what happened to them? They got smacked by Kansas State at home this weekend. Iowa State, a top 5 team in the country, lost by double digits at home to a sub 500 Kansas State team because they just weren't ready to play. So to Penny's point, it's not easy getting up for all of these games. It's not easy playing inferior competition every time out. That is what Memphis is being asked to do, and so I have made a promise to you. I'm not going to nitpick wins. I'm not going to nitpick wins with Memphis as long as you can avoid these quad 3 and quad 4 losses the rest of the way. I will not care how you did it. I'll just be glad that you did. And that's what they did yesterday. They avoided what would have been another bad loss.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment too, because and it's why I'm not worried at all about yesterday being a close game there at the end, because what was the last team that Memphis played that was supposed to be better competition. It was, or on paper, supposed to be better competition. It was the UAB game, and they blasted them, right?
That's right.
They got up for that game. And so, yeah, I mean, I really do look at yesterday's game like, man, that's a tough spot. Like,
Just
get out with a win.
Here's the stretch that Memphis has been in since losing at Temple. Quad 4 game at Charlotte. Quad 3 game at home against Wichita State. Quad 3 game at home against UAB. Quad 3 game on the road against Tulane. Quad 3 game against Rice on the road. Next up, Wednesday, Quad 4 game against Tulsa at home. After that, Quad 3, then another Quad 3, then another Quad 3. This is all it is.
Yeah.
Going forward, the rest of their regular season schedule is nothing but Quad 3 and Quad 4 games outside of the March 2nd game at UAB. Based on current projections, that qualifies as Quadrant 2. So this sucks. This is another reason it stinks to be in this league. Yeah, you're supposed to win all these games, but you probably won't because you'll probably just slip up somewhere. And when you do, it's probably going to be a Quad 3 or Quad 4 loss. Like, I would rather be playing a more difficult schedule than playing this, because at least with a difficult schedule, yeah, you'll probably lose more than you will against this schedule. But when you lose, it won't be as devastating. Right now, Memphis, all it can do is win nothing games or take bad losses. That's it. And when you take a bad loss, there's no way to make up for it. It's not like you could lose a Quad 3 game and, okay, that wasn't great, but at least you got 2 Quad 1 opportunities coming up. No, if you lose a Quad 3 game, the next thing you got is probably another Quad 3 game. You cannot offset these things with big victories. This stinks. And so I'm not going to nitpick them. Just try to avoid them. Just try to avoid the bad losses. If we are sitting here on Selection Sunday and Memphis still has just one Quadrant 3 loss, that will be amazing. That will, I will say Penny Hardaway should be the unanimous AAC Coach of the Year and a legitimate candidate for National Coach of the Year, even if that's like PJ Haggerty being a legitimate candidate for National Player of the Year. Like, won't win it, but like should be on a list. If we're going to put a list together, won't win it, but should be on the list. If Memphis still only has one Quadrant 3 or 4 loss on Selection Sunday, that means that they have cruised through the rest of this regular season schedule, and they'll be outright conference champions by multiple games, and Penny will start collecting trophies. That should be the goal if you're a Memphis fan. I'm not going to get too caught up in how it looks. Just keep winning the games, avoid the bad losses, and everything will be just fine.
Number 2.
Story in college basketball from the weekend originated at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Your old pal John Calipari, Bennett, took his Arkansas Razorbacks. They were 1-6 in the SEC and missing their best NBA prospect, Boogie Fland. Heavy underdogs, and they still go into Kentucky, win the game 89-79. John Calipari was booed by Kentucky fans walking into the arena when he was introduced, but he wasn't booed on his way out because a lot of the fans had already left. Coach Cal sent him to the exits early. What a scene in Lexington.
That was wild, dude. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw that coming. But once it happened, I wasn't that surprised. Like, he can get his teams motivated. We know that about him.
The thing you have to remember, and I'm not trying to have revisionist history, I did not think Arkansas was going to go into Kentucky and win.
Right.
All right. But when you look back at it, you go, okay, how did this happen? Well, Arkansas's roster, we all looked at it in the preseason and said that's a better roster than Kentucky's roster. Just about everybody said that. And that's more or less the same roster that they had on Saturday night minus Boogie Fland. So, DJ Wagner was a 5-star prospect. Adute Arrow is going to be in the NBA. You could argue that even without Boogie Fland, Arkansas still had a better roster than Kentucky on Saturday night, even if Kentucky's got the better team. And then you know what happened? They shot a crazy amount of threes. And they made a crazy amount of threes. They went 13 of 25 from 3. If you're trying to figure out how did John Calipari get his team to go into Kentucky and win, they took a lot of threes and they made them. They went 13 of 25 from 3, 52%. They shot more threes than normal and made way more than normal. On the season, only 37.6% of Arkansas's field goal attempts come from 3. Against Kentucky, that number went up to 43.1%. On the season, they make 33.5% of their three-point attempts. Against Kentucky, 52%. On the season, only 29.4% of their points come on three-pointers. Against Kentucky, that number jumped to 43.8%. So it was just, I don't want to oversimplify it, but that is the simplest and best explanation for what happened in Arkansas, Kentucky on Saturday night. The team that was the underdog and on the road and shorthanded quite clearly decided we're going to launch from three and we'll see how it goes. And they got unusually good shooting performances from multiple players, including DJ Wagner and John Calipari. Gets what is a nice moment for he and his family. I don't know that it changes the trajectory of Arkansas' season. If I were betting, I would still bet against them going to the NCAA tournament. They're still just 2-6 in their last 8 games. Regardless of what happened on Saturday night, that's still a basketball team that's lost 6 of its past 8. Still a basketball team that's playing without Boogie Flan. I think probably it's just going to be when we look back on it, we'll go, that was a bad first year for John Calipari at Arkansas, but that was a wild night he had in his first trip back to Rupp Arena, and it'll be nothing or at least very little more than that. But if you're an Arkansas fan, you at least got something to believe in now. You've seen that your team can go on the road and beat a team the quality of Kentucky. I don't know if that means they're going to be able to do it again, but they did it that night. And again, if you're John and you walk into a building where for 15 years you gave everything you had to these people and really created some wonderful memories, 4 Final Fours and a national title, it must be weird to walk into that building and have it sound like that. It's sports, so he was prepared for it, and I'm sure he's fine, but that must be a weird experience. And for him to walk out of that same building, as a winner, they're not going to raise a banner for it, but I don't know that he'll ever acknowledge it publicly, but I promise you privately that was one of his more favorite memories that he's ever had coaching basketball.
Number 3.
Royal Rumble was Saturday night. Did you get loose, Bennett?
I did. It was a lot of fun. It was a great Royal Rumble. I'm not sure I agree with the decision, but I had a blast the whole time.
Okay, I had to watch it in studio.
Okay,
because I worked all night.
Yep.
But we did have it in studio, and yeah, I'm with you. I had a blast watching it. I don't really care about Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble or Charlotte Flair winning the Royal Rumble. Both of them, if you go look at the YouTube clips, both of them have more thumbs down than thumbs up. And some of it just because people are miserable and just always complaining about something or not liking something. But I don't know. I'm not in charge, but you put me in charge, I think I could have come up with something a little better than Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair being the big winners on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the Charlotte one, I like because I think her and Rhea Ripley could be a really cool rivalry heading into WrestleMania. Like I'm actually looking forward to that one a lot. The Jey Uso thing, I mean, dude, when you had that moment where it was John Cena and Roman and CM Punk like kind of facing off with each other, and then they brought Rollins out. But that was like a cool moment. And I was like, man, let that breathe a little bit. Then they bring Rollins out, whatever. I don't know, man. When it got down to Jey Uso and John Cena, like I think everybody thought, oh, okay, this John Cena is going to get like this big moment and go to WrestleMania, and he'll probably lose, right? Because he's retiring, but like he's going to have his big moment. Instead, they give it to Jey Uso, and it's like the reason that I think it's kind of lame is because there's no way yes, he's main eventing WrestleMania. He's not really main eventing WrestleMania, dude. It is not going to be Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, like main event at WrestleMania. That is not going to happen. It's going to probably be him and Gunther, right, for the other title. And that's fine. Like, whatever. But, like, that's not going to be the main event.
Right. That'll be the Saturday night against Gunther type of deal.
I just think you could have done. I think you could have done it a little bit bigger. I don't know. That's what I came out of that. But I had it fun because I mean it was super unexpected. Like it was cool to like get down to it and that happened and you're in shock and everything. Like that's the fun of wrestling. So
well, they clearly like I don't care about Jey Uso, but like the crowd pops every time he comes out. That's
yeah,
true.
for sure. Damn, poor Jimmy, man. They eliminated his brother super early, dude. That man had to watch like his whole family in there having like the huge moments at the end of that Royal Rumble. He's been back in the locker room.
Yeah, they were tag team champions, and then Jay's career is going a little different direction than Jimmy's.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Hey, SmackDown's coming to FedEx Forum on Friday night, Bennett.
It is, man. It is.
We get to see them all in person.
Yeah, I think. Are you going to go? I think I'm going.
Yes, I'm going.
You're going? You
going.
got some tickets? Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm going.
Okay.
You kidding me? You kidding me? I'll be there. I had to miss last time WWE was in town because
that was a good one.
I know. That was when The Rock was there.
Yeah, that was good.
I was here in New York, but I am planning to be home on Friday. I'm planning to be in FedEx Forum on Friday night. SmackDown inside FedEx Forum downtown Memphis. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Fun Royal Rumble.
Number 4.
And then on Sunday night, more fun stuff on TV. It was the Grammys. Beyonce won for Cowboy Carter, Country Album of the Year and Album of the Year. You happy for Beyonce? She seems stunned. Do you think she was genuinely surprised that she won?
I mean, there was some big competition in that Album of the Year race. So yeah, I think so. I think she was. Yeah.
But if I'm not genuinely surprised that you won, why should you be genuinely surprised?
Were you not genuinely surprised? I thought okay.
No, I thought that this would be a legacy night for Beyonce. I thought that they would make up for Beyonce never winning some awards that people thought she should have won in the past. This will be their way of making up for it. This will be, remember how when the Academy Awards gave Leonardo DiCaprio an Oscar?
Yeah.
And people will tell you, Leonardo DiCaprio definitely deserved an Oscar at some point in his career, but I don't know if he got it for the right performance, but they just gave it to him because they felt like, man, we owe you one, you know?
Yeah, right.
That's sort of what that felt like. At least that's the way some film critics described it. Like I don't know if Leo should have won for this, but he should have won at some point, and so let's just get him one. Let's just get him one for this. That felt a little bit like what might have happened last night with the Grammys. Like, we don't know if Cowboy Carter was really the best album of the year, but we feel like we owe this woman one, so let's get her one. Is that what it felt like to you? I saw the whites are real upset about it.
All right.
Oh, God. I saw
whites.
The whites are really upset. I jumped on Facebook.
Just the whole race, everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
The whole race.
Not me. Don't include me in that.
And don't include me. I was happy for Beyonce, but there's some other whites who were really upset about her winning Country Album of the Year. They did not like it on Facebook. I saw it.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either, but I was happy for. And then, of course, I think the real story of the night, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar's phenomenon, swept everything it was nominated for. He added 5 more Grammys, and Not Like Us was played inside the arena on CBS while the entire industry danced and sang to it. If you were Drake, if you turned on your television last night or checked your phone, you saw every other big artist in the world dancing on your grave. Do you know what that must be like? Like, I guess you can assume the whole world is out there dancing to this song because we've known that was the case for a while. But it's one thing to imagine. It's quite another to see Beyonce dancing to it and Taylor Swift dancing to it and Taylor Swift screaming A minor and a whole crowd doing it. And, oh, by the way, if you're one of those people, because this was a thing, like, I don't know if he's going to be able to play Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. Yes, he is. And evidence that it's going to be played is that it was played on CBS last night in the Grammys. If you could put it on CBS during the Grammys, you can play it during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Next Sunday is going to be a party. Is there even a part of you that feels bad for Drake? I want to be clear. No, not even a part of me. But, man, I can't imagine what it's like to be him inside of a year without committing a crime or doing anything really crazy to ruin your reputation other than pick a terrible fight you should have never picked. You have had your entire life turned upside down, your reputation damaged, your place in the industry damaged, without really doing anything other than picking a stupid fight. You have created a scenario where you will never be looked at the same again. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I was trying to. So he wasn't nominated for anything, right?
Oh, he's a
no,
bum.
because the real answer is I don't think he had like music that was eligible this cycle, right? Like he didn't have anything new out. Is that fair?
He's a master manipulator and a habitual
Yeah.
liar.
I mean, I was thinking about it, dude. If I was him, I might have gone to the Grammys and shown my face.
I don't know what you do. I really don't. You give me about 10 minutes to think about something and I can come up with something I think makes sense. And yet if you add on almost anything that I feel like I'm decently versed on, you just say, GP, here's the thing. Let's talk through it. And then I want you to tell me what I should do.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll always be right, but I almost always reach a point where I go, okay, here's what I would do. All right, here's what I think. If Drake were asking for my advice, I don't know what to tell him to do. I don't know that you can. I don't know that there's anything you can say to him that will actually answer this question: how do I get back to where I was? How do I undo this? How do I fix this? I don't think it's fixable. I think you can still make big hits and still sell out arenas and still sell albums and be a streaming monster for a segment of the population. But there is another segment of the population that will never look at you the same again. And the only thing you did to get to this place is pick a fight with a Pulitzer Prize winner that you should have never picked. And Kendrick shows up at the Grammys. Did you see this part? Did you see what he was wearing?
Mm-mm.
Denim on denim. If you Google denim on denim, a denim jacket on top of denim jeans, do you know what that is referred to as? Do you know what they call that?
No.
A Canadian tuxedo.
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
It's all intentional. This band walked up to the Grammys with Not Like Us blaring, Beyonce and Taylor Swift dancing to A minor, and he's wearing a Canadian tuxedo just to further rub it into your face.
Rough, man.
It's rough. But you know what? You get what you get. Stop being silly. Why did you pick? You got to be. I really don't know who's dumber, if it's Nico Harrison or Drake. I really don't know. But both of them just voluntarily messed their lives up. Nico Harrison gave away a 25-year-old generational talent, and Drake picked a fight with a Pulitzer Prize winner. What in the... Yeah.
By the way, speaking of the Grammys, did you see the Kanye moment? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the video, right?
Of course.
Wild video.
Now,
Now, I've seen that it'd be disputed that they were kicked out. That's not.
There's a million different stories. One is that they showed up and then they got kicked out. Another is that they were invited because he did have a song that was nominated, and so he was invited, but then decided to leave. Another theory is that he just walked the red carpet to make a scene that people like us would talk about, and then he left. I don't know what the truth is, but it did what he wanted to do. Right?
Yeah, he got people talking. I know. I was hoping that he was going to be like there in the audience. That would have been a lot of fun.
I'm just over him, and I say that as somebody who he was my favorite artist. He was my favorite artist. I've seen him in concert a whole bunch. I have listened to every album except for the stupid gospel album, and the last one. Every other album he's ever made, I've listened to 50,000 times. He was my favorite artist, and now I don't want to say bored with him. I don't think that's the right term. I'm just like, I don't find it interesting. I find it embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him, and I know he does not care, right? I know he doesn't care, but like, I don't like that he's done this to his legacy. There's another person who will never be viewed the way he was once viewed. He will never be viewed the way people used to view him. He did this to himself, and I hate that. I hate that for him. And maybe he'll never care. But I wonder if you do reach a point, and maybe if you're him, you just don't. But I wonder if you reach a point where it's like, there was the whole world maybe thought I was a little arrogant and thought I was a little wild, but I was still universally, for the most part, respected as a brilliant artist. And now that's the 17th thing people think about when they think of Kanye West, that nobody thinks about one of the real gifted creators of music of his generation, of all time. That's what he is. The one controversial thing, I don't know if it's the one, but among the controversial things he said that is actually true is when he calls himself a genius. I don't mean in every way that he means it, but when it comes to music, he is actually a genius. He hears things other people can't hear, and he can make things other people can't make. He is actually a musical genius. But that's like the 20,000th thing people think about now when they think about him. They think about stuff like last night. His wife, though, man, if you're going to put a woman in a see-through dress, she can rock it pretty good.
No question. There's no doubt about that.
She looked pretty good in a see-through dress.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
It took me by surprise. She was wearing the big like coat, and then you're like, oh, what's going on here? And then
whoa. She looks like she works out, or either doesn't eat much, or one of the two, right?
Oh, she works out. I think she works out, dude.
She looks like she works out.
She works out. Yes.
She looks like she's in the gym. Good for her.
I had a good time with the Grammys, man. I enjoyed the Grammys quite a bit.
I had a great time with the Grammys. I sat right here in this exact same chair. I've really just been sitting here for like a week and a half.
Moved.
I haven't moved. I've just been sitting right here in this chair for like a week and a half. This can't be the way you're supposed to live your life.
Nah.
It can't possibly be. But I'm trying to distract myself with entertainment. It's the American way. And last night I was able to do that with the Grammys. It was a fun night. I had fun. I think most people who watched it have fun except for Drake. I bet he didn't like watching it at all.
Number 5.
Woo, buddy. Do you see this headline?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Todd Mastery used to run the Landers Center. And full disclosure, I've known Todd for a long time. I consider him a friend.
Okay.
Further disclosure, I have not talked to him, texted with him, emailed with him, nothing about this story. So I don't know anything more than what I read at dailymemphian.com.
Okay.
But at dailymemphian.com, he has filed a lawsuit. I'll just read you the lead. Here's the first paragraph. dailymemphian.com. Rob Moore is your author. Former Landers Center director Todd Mastery says he was fired after denying requests from members of the DeSoto County Board of Supervisors to stop booking black artists at the venue, according to a lawsuit filed late Friday. He says that one of the CVB's board of directors, a fellow named Mark Gardner, in the lawsuit, Mastery claims that Mark Gardner told him to, quote, stop booking black acts because he doesn't want, quote, those people coming to the Landers Center.
Yikes.
Woo,
Yikes. That's a strong allegation right there.
Yes, it is. What do you think about that, Bennett?
I would hope it's not true. Yeah, I would hope it's not true.
I don't mean to put you in a bad spot. I shouldn't even ask you.
I don't know what to say.
I know you don't know what to say. Here's what I'll say. I have no idea if it's true either. I looked at all the names. I might know these other people who are involved in this lawsuit, but their names don't stand out to me.
Okay.
I don't recognize them by their names. Perhaps if I saw them, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I had a beer with that fella at Chili's one night, but I don't recognize their names. I have no idea if these allegations are true. But as somebody who has lived almost my entire life, certainly most of my life in DeSoto County, I can tell you, it sounds like something that might be true. It sounds like something you might hear down there.
Yeah.
It's not the hardest thing to believe that somebody down there might have said something like that.
That's tough. Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but it sounds a lot like something I've heard before from people. And I don't mean to disparage the entire DeSoto County. I make my home there. My children are being raised there. Like my wife owns a store there. We enjoy DeSoto County. But when I read this lawsuit, did I go, man, there ain't no way that's true? No, I didn't think that. I could absolutely see that being suggested, if not demanded. And the whole further story, not to get too in the weeds on it, but it's like they wanted Todd, this is what the allegation is at least, they wanted Todd to stop booking, quote, black acts because they didn't want those people coming down to the Landers Center. What I'm assuming those people meant is black people from Memphis coming down to the Landers Center to see a black act. This is all in the lawsuit. When they couldn't convince Todd to do it, because according to the lawsuit, he said, not only is this like something I'm not comfortable with, this is a wild conversation to be bringing to me. It's like against federal law to do that. Okay.
There's got to be some kind of law involved in this. Yeah.
So when they couldn't convince him to do it, they went through the process of trying to fire him.
Yeah.
And when they couldn't get the board to fire him, they started replacing board members with board members who were more willing to fire him. This was the path they were on. Like, if you won't do what we're telling you, then we're going to get somebody in here who will vote to get rid of you. You either do what we're asking or we're getting rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
And they ultimately got rid of him. And now he has filed this lawsuit. So I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here, but it's obviously not a good look.
No, not at all.
Not a good look. Sometimes, you work real hard to rid yourself of labels and stereotypes and all of those things that have been earned over decades. And then you read a story like this and it just reinforces a lot of the things that some people say about life below the state line. I hate it. I hate that this is the way DeSoto County is being represented in, this is the type of story that could very easily go national. And I hate that it's being reflected in this way. But what I hate even more than that is that there are allegedly people who think that way, who are running things in that county, who are running things in the place where I live. And if they end up having to pay a significant price for this with both their reputations and financially, if it did indeed go down this way, as it is alleged, then maybe they'll learn a lesson. And maybe that'll be the way you can actually get to a more advanced place in the community. You can read the lawsuit and the story yourself. It's all available. DailyMemphian.com. Be back in a second.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history, and meanwhile they boo him out of the building?
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you!
That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about the
Go
Tigers?
Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sitting right next to me, am I right? The one and only Jay Huff. Were you comfortable there in your seat?
I'm great. I've been adjusting it, playing around with the height settings.
What are you exactly? 7'1" or 7 even? Or
I say 7'2" because I wear shoes.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I did a video and I thought it was pretty funny, and I said, well, I'm gonna post it on TikTok and see what it does. You know, we watched Alabama beat Miami. We had no idea the video was blowing up the whole time we were beating Miami, or we would have kept doing it. Yeah. So I told Tide roll. The Tide, tell them, Willie. Tide roll, baby. That's what they do.
We always gonna get beat because you cannot mess with the Tide.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. The big story of the weekend, of course, originated in the NBA. Lakers and Mavericks. Luka Doncic moved to Los Angeles. Shams Charania broke the news late Saturday, early Sunday, depending on where in the world you live, and was on Get Up this morning with Mike Greenberg. Did you see this quote that's making the rounds now? He said that when he started getting wind of this and actually got a text message from a source that said, this is going down, here are the details, he didn't think, even Shams did not think it was real.
Yeah, I believe that.
This is how you know how absurd it is. Nobody believes it.
Mm-mm.
Even Nico Harrison said when he was talking to other people about it, they didn't think he was serious. Would that let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Just philosophical question. Let's say you're running an NBA franchise or anything, all right? And you have reached a conclusion that you have to make a personnel move on this person. You are convinced it's the right thing to do. You have thought about it from every angle. You've been sitting with it for a while. You know, you've never been more sure of anything in your life that this is the right thing to do. Nobody can talk you out of this. That's where you are at. But you also know the second I do this, even though I know this is what I need to do and I know it's the right thing to do, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. But you know the second you do it, it is so absurd on a surface level that nobody will even believe it's true. And then when people realize that it is true, the entire world will call you an idiot. Are you strong enough in your beliefs to go through with it?
Man, I don't think so. I just don't see how you can justify. I mean, dude, again, maybe if it happened to any other team besides the Lakers, but like that's the other aspect of this is like people looking at it like, wow, dude, you just gifted the Lakers like a generational talent. Like they were on the way towards being irrelevant for a couple of years again once LeBron retires, and who knows what happens with AD. Like, and now like they're set, dude. They're ready to roll for, and so I can understand that like, yeah, I can understand like the fan base just being mortified over this whole thing. If you're a Mavs, how can you be happy if you're a Mavs fan today? You're disgusted.
I haven't seen one that is.
No, dude, you're disgusted, man. And like I've seen some people say like, man, y'all are being super disrespectful to AD. It's not about AD's an amazing player. He's one of the greatest players in the world. Their career trajectories don't line up. Like AD's been in the league forever now at this point. Like how much longer does he have left playing at a super high level? Whereas Luka's 25 years old? Like, come on, what are we talking about?
Anthony Davis is 31 years old, and though he has been mostly healthy lately, that is not what his career is.
Right.
It's not. He is not the shining example of health. So you've just traded a 25-year-old generational talent for a 31-year-old. Just period. Stop there. You just never do that. Period.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't even have to finish. You have a 25-year-old generational talent. What are you getting for him? A 31? No, we're not. No, we're not talking about that. I don't even need to finish the sentence. You do not trade Luka Doncic under these circumstances. But to your point, I don't think I would be strong enough either to follow through on it if I realized this would be the reaction, because I just wouldn't want to deal with all this. And beyond that, it would make me reconsider. Hold on. If everybody I tell this to, like, think about if you had what you think is a great idea, but everybody you tell it to says this is a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
That would make me reconsider whether I really have a great idea or if I'm just a little twisted up. Like maybe this great idea I have isn't actually great because everybody I tell it to thinks it's the craziest thing they've ever heard. Either Nico Harrison is the most amazing leader with incredible vision into the future, and we'll all owe him a big apology someday. But I can't imagine that that's true, because even if this works out where it doesn't look as bad for Dallas as it looks right now, like let's say Luka never goes to LA and wins championships. Instead, he's just eliminated in the Western Conference Finals, eliminated in the second round, hurt 2 out of these 4 seasons. And it's just, and they're the ones that paying him $350 roughly million. And it just doesn't work out. Like Luka Doncic's career is forever hampered with injuries and poor conditioning going forward. Even if it works out for you, I'm still going to say it was a crazy thing for you to do. And certainly insane the way you did it. Like even if you decide we cannot be in the Luka Doncic business anymore, you have to shop him. You have to shop him to everybody. And yeah, it's going to leak and get out. But if you're set on moving him anyway, why do you care when that conversation starts? Like we were talking to Michael Eaves about it earlier, and he was like, yeah, but if you start shopping him to every team, then somebody's going to leak it. Then it's become a conversation on Get Up and everywhere else in the sports industry, and you're just getting absolutely blasted for even considering trading Luka Doncic. Well, that's fine, but how is that any different than getting blasted after you trade Luka Doncic? Like the conversation going to be the conversation, regardless of when you have it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. If I just decide I'm going to get out of the Luka Doncic business, period, end of story, I don't care when the whole world's going to question my decision making, because that's coming no matter what. Let's do what we got to do to get the best deal on the table. Let's get an offer from the Lakers, and then let's make sure every other franchise in the NBA knows that that's the starting price. What do you got to offer? It's just doing it nonsensical. Way they went about it made it even sillier. And we could talk about it for 4 more hours, but here's all you need to know. After Woj retired, Shams Charania was elevated to the most high-profile newsbreaker in the NBA. And he deals with text and phone calls and information and tips from sources literally every day. He's been getting tips and information from sources via text and phone calls every day for years. And when this entered his phone, he didn't think it was real. When it entered his phone, nobody should have a better understanding for what's absurd and what isn't than Shams Charania when it comes to NBA trades, or at least very few people should. And when he saw this, his reaction was like the rest of ours. There's no way that's true. There's no way this is actually happening. That's how you know you've done a really, really absurd deal.
Bro, Jason Kidd looked like he was being held hostage at that press conference yesterday. He's like, the look on his face. He just looked sick, dude.
You should be able to sit down if you're Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
And make it better once you're done talking. Maybe can't convince everybody, but if you're a great communicator and you've done something that is at least sensible in your mind, you should be able to talk to me, and by the time you're done, I could maybe go, okay, I don't agree with you, but I at least see where you're coming from. I at least understand why you did what you did. I don't agree with it, but I at least get it. Like, this is what I do with the Grizzlies drafts sometimes. Like, take Zach Edey with the 9th pick in the draft. You know what I said about that? I wouldn't have done it. I didn't agree with it, but I understood why they did it. Like, it's not what I would have done, but after hearing them talk about it, I understood why they did it. That's what Nico Harrison, that was his job yesterday. Sit down and make me understand why you did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
I might not agree with you when we're done. In fact, I'm certain I'm not going to, but can you at least make me understand why you did it? And he sat there and had that press conference and made it worse. Just about everything that came out of his mouth made it worse. And did you see the video that the Mavericks fans are like at a party? It's like, looks like college age
young people. I did see it, yeah.
And they're all just sitting around looking at their phones and they're flipping out.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, whew. We'll never forget this one.
No, we'll never forget this one. Now, the other thing about this, too, do you believe, because this is a big talking point today, obviously, do you think LeBron had any idea?
I know that he swears he didn't, and I know that multiple NBA reporters have said it is their understanding that he did not. I don't want to be somebody who acts like I know more about this than Shams Charania or Brian Windhorst. You know, that seems a little silly. I sit in a hotel room every day. I'm not an NBA insider. So if Brian Windhorst and Shams Charania both say LeBron knew nothing about this, I'm inclined to believe them, I guess. But it doesn't sound true to me. I mean, this is a franchise that hired his podcasting partner to be the coach, drafted his son.
Yeah.
He's got his son playing minutes in the NBA in a way that runs counter to everything. And yet then they're going to go out and trade one of his closest friends without even talking to him first. I mean, maybe, but it didn't. If you would have asked me before Shams and anybody else said anything about this, did LeBron know? I would say, yes, of course he knew. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
How would he not know? It does not sound true that he wouldn't know. But I'm not going to argue with NBA insiders who insist that he didn't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound true, does it?
No, it doesn't sound true. It doesn't sound true at all. I do kind of like how this is playing out from a Grizzlies perspective. I think that both of these teams in the immediate future are worse than they were yesterday. That's assuming that Luka's like going to come back and be fully healthy, ready for a playoff run. Because the Grizzlies have struggled with the Lakers because of their size, right? Well, that's changed when you lose Anthony Davis. And then the Mavs just lost Luka. Like, I think LeBron and Luka together is going to be amazing. I don't think we have to get that twisted around at all. But we'll see. Like, they're going to try to go get a center. Who do they go get? As a Grizzlies fan, how that was all playing out over the weekend, I was like, I feel a little bit better about this situation, especially with the way that we're playing. I think it's helped them as far as potential playoff series in the Western Conference.
What most people think is that the Lakers aren't done. They're going to have to make another move. DeAndre Ayton's name is getting thrown out often as a possible target for the front court. As always, we'll see. But if you care about the betting markets, the Lakers' odds to win the NBA title went in a good direction after the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mavericks, not so much. We'll be back in a second.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history, and meanwhile they boo him out of the building?
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you!
That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the Tigers?
Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bain 3, yes sir! Desmond Bain with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I did a video and I thought it was pretty funny, and I said, well, I'm gonna post it on TikTok and see what it does. We watched Alabama beat Miami. We had no idea the video was blowing up the whole time we were beating Miami, or we would have kept doing it. Yeah. So I told Tide roll. The Tide, tell them, Willie. Tide roll, baby. That's what they do.
We always gonna get beat because you cannot mess with the Tide.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history, and meanwhile they boo him out of the building?
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you!
That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Game 50 of a scheduled 82 set for tonight inside FedEx Forum. 7 o'clock tip. The Spurs are in town. Victor Wembanyama is in town. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. I keep hitting refresh on
I did too.
At Grizzlies PR. We do not have an update to the status report as of yet. For what it's worth, heading into yesterday's game, Ja Morant was listed as doubtful. And then later was confirmed out, but he was not listed as out on the first status report connected to last night's game in Milwaukee. It was doubtful, and then when we got the update, it was out. So what are we thinking, Bennett? How you feel on a scale of 1 to 7?
Okay.
Ja Morant plays tonight. Where are you putting it?
So, I mean, I saw Sedano on ESPN yesterday because they played on ESPN yesterday, and he reported that Ja doesn't have full mobility in his right shoulder and that he can't lift it above his shoulder level, which
That's
obviously when I heard that, I was like, geez, you got to be kidding me. But to your point, the reason that I feel pretty good about a couple things that I'm going to try to stay positive about. Taylor Jenkins has said that he thinks it's a short-term injury. We've heard him say that, and that he thinks that he should be back in the next couple games. And then the injury report with him being doubtful the past 2 games and eventually leading to being out. Typically, like if it's something long-term, he's just out. You're not even getting that doubtful designation. So, we'll see what it looks like today, but until I hear otherwise, I'm going to, feel decent about the whole thing.
I think the context clues are actual clues.
Yeah.
Like on yesterday's status report, Marcus Smart was out. Vince Williams was out. Cam Spencer was out. Ja Morant was not listed as out. He was listed as doubtful. So if it was 100% clear he wasn't going to play basketball anytime soon, he would be out, not listed as doubtful. And so I do think that is encouraging and does suggest that what Taylor's saying is right, that this should be short-term, not long-term. I know it's frustrating for Grizzlies fans. We talked about that on Friday. It is what it is. It's a shoulder injury. That reportedly occurred in practice, and it's now cost him, I guess, 21 games so far this season, and if he doesn't play tonight, that'll be game 22. All you're hoping is that the shoulder heals properly and the Grizzlies continue to win at the rate at which they've been winning, which has been 4th best in the entire NBA. And then when we get to the playoffs and we're playing best of 7 series, he's healthy and ready to go. I don't know what else there is to say about it other than that.
Right.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But I don't know who to blame, and I don't know who to be mad at. It's just he's a basketball player who is often dealing with one thing or another, and this is the latest example of it. I'm just going to continue to hope that when the games get super important and we're competing for banners in 7-game series, I'm just going to continue to hope that when those games get here, he's healthy, ready to go, and we can have an incredible few weeks of postseason basketball. In the meantime, we just got to keep hitting refresh on Twitter at Grizzlies PR. Eventually, we will get our status update. We back.
Hey, real quick, yeah, just because we're talking about this game, worth pointing out that tonight Wemby is questionable with an illness, so we'll see what happens with that. Grizz are 5-point favorites.
Well, this is one of those where if you're a Grizzlies fan, like, what are you hoping for? Because on one hand, you're more likely to win than lose when Victor Wembanyama is not in the lineup. On the other hand, this is about entertainment, and people do pay real money for these tickets. And when you have a guy who, in many ways, looks like could be the face of the NBA someday, when you pay real money, you'd like to see that guy do his job.
That's where I always lean. Like, I want to see the fun matchups. So
Right.
I obviously want to see him play. Yeah.
I think that's where I am too. Like I want the Grizzlies to win, but I also like seeing generational talents. And
Yeah.
So get well soon, Wemby. I guess it'd be easier to beat the Spurs without him in the lineup, but be more fun to beat them. Hey, only way you can dunk on Victor Wembanyama after the whistle is if he's in uniform and on the court, right?
Yep, you're damn right.
All right. So I'd prefer him to see on the court. We'll check. You know what? We'll continue to check the Spurs status report just as often as we check the Grizzlies. And at some point today, we'll have a good indication of who's playing and who isn't. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. We'll be back. GP's Carryout.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the
Tigers. Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
I did a video, and I thought it was pretty funny, and I said, well, I'm going to post it on TikTok and see what it does. You know, we watched Alabama beat Miami. We had no idea the video was blowing up the whole time we were beating Miami, or we would have kept doing it. Yeah. So I told
the Tide roll.
The Tide, tell them, Willie. Tide roll, baby. That's what they do.
We always going to get beat because you cannot mess with the Tide.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history. And meanwhile, they boo him out of the building. Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you. That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Grizzlies Spurs inside FedEx Forum tonight, 7 o'clock tip. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. The Grizz are listed 4.5-point favorites, 5-point favorites, depending on where you look. John Morant, we wait to get a status update on him. Victor Wembanyama, we wait to get a status update on him. Either way, it's going to be Grizz Spurs tonight inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the big sports story of the weekend. The Dallas Mavericks trading Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for a package headlined by 31-year-old Anthony Davis. It continues to be the biggest topic of conversation today throughout sports, and it really is one of those that transcended sports. You got the sense that even if you're not an NBA fan, like, you were very aware that something big happened in sports. Like, you don't have to follow sports to know that something big happened in sports, and the big thing is that a guy who has been labeled as a future MVP, like, you don't give up on 25-year-old future MVPs very often. That's why it was hard for anybody to believe what actually happened. But it happened. It was real. Luka Doncic is no longer a Maverick. He's a Laker. Trade deadline still set for Thursday. We obviously won't get a bigger deal than that, because I don't think there's a bigger deal out there to be made. But there will be more deals made. And did you see this report from Chris Haynes earlier? I guess it was about 10, 15 minutes ago. He said that sources are telling him that multiple NBA franchises are starting to adjust their travel plans for Thursday because they've just realized, oh no, we're going to be in the air at the deadline, and we don't want to be in the air at the deadline. We don't want to be in the air. Everybody on their phones, and it's like, oh buddy, you just got traded. We landed in 45 minutes, but you're no longer a part of this team. You play for another team now, but we're up in the air. You land in 40. You just don't avoid all that.
Yeah.
So they're going to not take off until after the trade deadline to make sure when they take off, everybody on the plane is actually going to still be a member of the team when they land the plane. It's going to be a busy week in the NBA.
I think so,
I can't
dude.
wait.
Yep.
I can't wait.
Today's biggest game.
College basketball, big Monday. Iowa State at Kansas, 8 o'clock tip. It's on ESPN. Kansas coming off a loss at Baylor where they were up 21 points and lost by 17. It's the biggest blown lead the Kansas lost in the history of the program. Now they're back home in Allen Fieldhouse. Iowa State comes in, was rocking and rolling, but now they've lost 2 straight. Kansas minus 2.5. The total's 146.5. Bennett, how you going to act?
Give me the Jayhawks. Yeah.
Bennett said that number's too little for Allen Fieldhouse. Take Kansas minus the 2.5.
What are we watching on TV?
I think we got to go Netflix. It's the first Monday Night Raw after the Royal Rumble. Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso are both expected to make appearances.
Okay.
We're doing it at Cleveland and Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse tonight. Elimination Chamber matches are scheduled to begin tonight, so it should be a big night on Netflix. Start streaming 7 o'clock.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, not really a reading thing, but Jerry Palm has updated his bracket over at CBSSports.com. And do you know where he's got the Tigers? What do you think the Tigers seed is right now?
I'm going to say
February 3rd, 2025.
I'm going to say Jerry's still got us in a 5.
Oh, you're moving up, didn't it? You're a 4 seed now.
How about that?
Jerry Palm's got your University of Memphis Tigers up to a 4 seed. That falls in line with where I have them in the top 25 and 1. I've got them 13th in this morning's top 25 and 1. You do the math on that, that equates to a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. So me and Jerry Palm, we're thinking the same way as it comes to Penny's Tigers. You can find his updated bracket right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, obviously, we'll be looking back on Grizz Spurs, hopefully discussing the Grizzlies winning Game 50 and improving to 34-16, maintaining their lead on the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference standings, maintaining their place at second behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.